Thanks for coming up on National Report or coming on National Report. Let me start with this if I can. You have an op-ed out and you wrote this in this town hall here. It says Joe Biden's FBI raid crossed the Rubicon. Congressman, I'll give you the floor here if you can elaborate there on your op-ed.
Yes, so when you cross the Rubicon, that means you've gone too far without authority. And that's what's happened here. This is a long-standing pattern of the police state apparatus, beginning with forged and falsified affidavits to get a FISA warrant on campaign workers in Trump's original campaign in 2016. The additional manipulation of records and data for the two impeachments. You have the Mueller report that came out and debunked the entire Russia hoax theory. And all of this was using the police apparatus. And so we see this come forward today with the Mar-a-Lago raid. And so I look at it, Sean, and I say, you've just gone so far that the FBI is not trusted, the DOJ is not trusted, the police apparatus at the federal level is no longer got the trust of the American people.
There have been increased threats on law enforcement, specifically the FBI, as you well know, and that being reported. Do you believe that that type of rhetoric could essentially bolster those threats, that maybe the distrust in FBI speaking out against the FBI like that could cause more threats to the FBI? Does that concern you?
No, I don't believe my rhetoric causes threats to the FBI. I do believe that the American people should not make threats of violence toward the FBI, and I basically criticize that, and I say, don't do that. That's not what you should be doing. But the First Amendment allows us to provide critique, especially for political purposes. And I'm politically speaking out saying, look, the FBI has lost the trust of the American people. And it's lost it because of its abuse of the American people. That doesn't mean we take arms to the street or threaten police or the FBI. What it means is we in Congress have got to oversee them, and we've got to take action to hold them responsible. And those who continue to perpetuate these falsities and this abuse of American people, we have to hold them according to the process that we have in check and accountable. Not for violence. Certainly you can protest. That's legitimate First Amendment activity, but not threatening and not violence for sure.
Do you think that those affidavits would be unsealed, or the affidavit would be unsealed?
The affidavit should be unsealed. If it was unsealed, that might assuage some of the concern we have here. But don't forget, we have seen affidavits fudged, and we had one FBI agent go to be criminally prosecuted for fudging a FISA warrant application. So these affidavits in and of themselves aren't going to solve much. But what's going to solve this is the stopping of the use of power to abuse political opponents. And that's what we've seen here time and time again, Sean.
All right, I'll switch topics if I can to the Inflation Reduction Act, as it's being called. It won out in a 220 to 207 vote margin there. All Republicans, as you know, including yourself, voting no. President Biden releasing this video statement after the bill's passage. Here's that moment.
This is a historic moment. The Democrats sided with the American people, and the Republicans sided with special interests. That's the choice we face, whether we protect the already powerful or have the courage to build a future where everybody has an even shot.
Congressman, I'll give you a chance to respond to that video and the messaging from the president, and then why you voted no.
Yeah, first of all, for him to say special interest groups, that bill is laden with special interest money, literally hundreds of billions of dollars going to the Green New Deal special interest groups. That's what he's talking about. In the meantime, what he's forgetting is that he's raising taxes on lower and middle income people will especially bear the brunt of that through the tax increase that he's engaged in. So he's put in recessionary regulations with the Green New Deal and with the tax. That's going to add to the recession. At the same time, all of that spending is going to actually exacerbate and fuel additional inflation. There is nobody, including the Wharton School, which used some rather euphemistic language that said this is a statistically near zero impact on inflation as you can have. There's no one believes that this is going to have any impact on inflation now or in the midterm time frame at all. We're going to see it actually do the opposite. It's going to make our currency less valuable, which is what fuels inflation to begin with. So it was a disastrous bill. And then you throw in the fact that you're going to more than double the size of the IRS and score that, Sean. They're scoring that as a revenue enhancer because they're going to go after and tip over every American business and individual, shake them by the legs to see if they can get any dimes and quarters and nickels out of their pockets to pay for some of this bloated deficit and national debt causing inflation causing recession exacerbating bill.
Sure. Nonpartisan analyst, the CBO, and also Senator Bernie Sanders says this will have little to no impact on inflation, right. The Inflation Reduction Act. Congressman Andy Biggs joining us live there. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on for us. We appreciate that.
Pleasure, Chuck. Thank you.
You got it.